Hey Spuddies, Potato McWhiskey here, and welcome back to Let's Play Civilization 6 as Persia, where we're playing Persia to highlight the crazy injustice going on in Iran right now. Anyway, so where we left off in the last episode, we were in the middle of researching printing so that we could get more tourism from the great works of writing that we've been buying from the AI. We do not generate enough great writer points to be able to get any of these great writers ourselves, and so we kind of need to buy them to fill out our slots. Now Hagmatana has finished its amphitheater and we just finished it. We could go straight into either the archaeological or the art museum. The archaeological museum is generally easier to theme and does scale better into the late game with the great scientists that are available, mainly Mary Leakey. However, the advantage of the great works of art is we can get them online earlier. If we take a look at the great people screen and we look at the previously recruited great artists, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 great artists have been recruited. So there's 15 great works of art out there for us to grab, which is, and the AI will typically sell you them without too much of an issue. So I think we will go ahead and grab ourselves an art museum so that we can do that purchase. We're going to want to make sure that we have a significant amount of gold. I don't know why this pin is here. Well, I'll delete it for now. I'll go improve that incense as well. It will be useful. I think we already have incense. In fact, we have 14 luxuries right now. Our entire empire is extremely happy, which is fantastic. It's exactly what we want. And I believe we were looking to settle down here to grab the olives and the tobacco for ourselves. We got a chancery in Pasargadae. That's going to be +3 influence points per turn. So now we're making 18.5 influence per turn, which is a hell of a lot of influence. Really damn good. In the capital, I mean, we could get the Apadana. It's not terrible. I think I would be more likely, I think I'm just going to grab the art museum so we can get to buying more great works of art. We are getting stolen from, which really annoys me. So I'll just look to sell some of my excess resources so that we can have gold saved up for when we finish the art museum. And I do want to chop here in Tushpat, but I'm tempted to wait for Magnus to get established. There is 2 chops available in Hagmatana, but that city's already established. So I'm going to take Magnus and I'm going to reassign Magnus to Tushpat so that we can use in 5 turns. There's at least 1, 2, 3, 4 forest chops. There's another 3 forest chops down here. That's 7 chops. That will get the city up and running extremely quickly. I'm excited about that. We got the temple in Shahir Ikunis. I'm going to go ahead and buy the stupa for +1 amenity. City already has +8 amenities, so that's fine. We would like to build the medieval walls. Unfortunately, this niter spawned here, which is going to hurt the appeal of the local area. I suppose in theory I could put a lumber mill there, which would help a bit. And when this theater square finishes, so right now this tile has a 0 appeal. It'll get +2 when I clear the jungle, and then another +2 when I plant. So it will eventually hit the right appeal level, especially once I get rid of this marsh and stuff. I may not improve this niter. Let me have a quick search for niter in my empire. I think I had a couple underneath these tiles over here. Yeah, if I already have 2 niter improved, that's plenty that I can sell to the AI. I could improve this on a temporary basis, which is not a terrible use of a 6-turn builder. So I'll go ahead and build a builder in here. We can do some tile improving. We're not too far away from conservation, so we probably won't benefit too much from that. So it might not be worth it to improve it. It is kind of just a single wasted builder charge isn't that big of a deal, but it is something that we want to consider. He's claiming that my people are lazy and unworthy, which is kind of strange. I wish there was a little bit more context onto what he's complaining about. Also, something we should definitely do is to make sure that we have open borders with everyone and have sent delegations and resident embassies with everyone. That can be good to maintain our friendships. Let me double check. I have a global relations screen here, and it should be possible for me to tell which agreements I'm missing. So this is me up here. I have, oh wow, it looks like I'm missing open borders with basically everyone. When does our open borders agreement end? Let's see. I'm trying to remember how to tell how long is left on an open borders agreement. Well, I don't know. Okay, let's start getting mutual open borders with people. Open borders is a very important thing to do when you're in a tourism game because it's a 25% increase in your tourism application. So opening up your borders is a very diplomatically useful thing to do in terms of tourism generation. That's going to get us a 25% increase in our tourism, which is fantastic. We are going to want to start looking into trade deals to get the extra 25% tourism as well. That's not completely necessary right now, but it is something we want to start thinking about. It looks like the Colosseum was stolen, which is unlucky. It's not the end of the world. It's just unfortunate. We almost got it. Now, maybe if we had saved our chops here, we could have chopped it out. That might have been the correct way to do things, but it's fine. I am thinking of getting the industrial zone in this city. There is if we go to city overlap again, there is a 6 city overlap right there, which would allow us to hit a lot of tiles. Question, we want it here or here. Here's fine. 6 cities means that any potential factory that we build, and we will research factories on the way to flight, as industrialization is right before it. The factory gives +3 production to all cities within 6 tiles, +3 when fully powered. In addition, we did have Mexico in the game, but somebody killed them. I don't remember who killed it. It was the Mayans. So in theory, we could liberate Mexico to get an extra 3 range, which would allow us to get, if we had a 9 ranger, you could see here, this would hit 8 cities in here, which is pretty damn good. So I think this is the spot that I'm going to build it. Let's get that industrial zone. We will need to swap this tile. We'll put it right there. It'll be finished in a single turn. Plus, it's nice to have a place with an industrial zone so that you can run projects. Hagmatana is basically fully developed, so I'm going to go ahead and move a trader to Tushpa, as this is a fresh city, so it needs the development aid. It's kind of the way that I like to think about trade routes. Is it's kind of like you giving development aid to your newly created cities. So there's printing. We have double tourism from Great Works of Writing. We also have access to mercantilism now, which is going to give us lumber mills on rainforest as well as better camps. We can also choose a new technology here. We could go for stirrups for better pastures. I don't think we have that many pastures in my empire. If I type pasture Persia, yeah, there's no pastures inside my empire as far as I'm aware. So I don't think researching feudalism is particularly useful for us. And like I was talking about earlier, we pretty much just want to beeline flight. So I'm just going to click on flight for now, and then we can redirect the path through the tech tree based on our needs as it comes up. And similarly, now that we're beelining flight, I think it makes sense to beeline conservation. There could be an argument for stopping off at civil engineering. You used to delay civil engineering because it would break the limes card, but now breaking limes happens at ideology. So I think we could go for civil engineering if we really wanted governor titles and farms, but I think what we really want to be able to do is to plant forests and start doing conservation, allowing us to convert our faith into a few national parks. The industrial zone is completed in Susa, so we're going to go ahead and build the workshop. It's going to be a nice boost to production, but also giving us that great engineer point. There are a few great engineers that are particularly useful. If we go to the great engineer overview, workshops giving culture, that can actually be incredibly good in a tourism game. More important, stuff like wonder building is really useful. James Watt is really good, especially if you have the mausoleum, can be very good. But I'm more interested in, there's supposed to be one that gives tourism. Kenzo Tange, that's tourism. Nikola Tesla, that's production, and housing and amenities is nice. Let's have a look here. So we want to trade for high food and high production, and typically our capital is going to be the best place for that because we tend to develop our capital in a way that allows it to be a really good destination for trade routes. Okay, there is sailing. We don't have any real water tiles that we need to worry about, but it is nice to have. Going and moving. There's definitely some national park potential in the city that we're going to be settling here. I see at least 2 in the mountains, if not 3, potentially 4, depending on how things work out. But really good potential here. Planning ahead is always useful. We failed to steal money from Tromso, but the spy was not detected. It looks like we could purchase some luxuries, and I will purchase them just to keep my amenities really high. Coming into Tromso, we are going to attempt to steal again, and I do think we will settle on this stone, as it'll get us access to 2 new luxuries. We have technically bought them, I believe, but regardless, having them will be useful. Keeping our amenities super high. Magnus is established here, so we can easily chop for infrastructure. Like, I could 1-turn this monument and then overflow to 1-turn the granary. Not even a problem. That's the power of chopping, right? Like, you could finish infrastructure so quickly, and it's the chopping aspect of the game is just so fun. Question, do we want the aqueduct or the holy site? I think the holy site's more important because that actually has food attached to it, whereas the aqueduct just gives you housing. We got the art museum in Pasargadae. Let's see if we can buy some great works. I think these statues are great. These are all Michelangelo. Well, this one's Donatello, one of my favorite Ninja Turtles. So we'll grab the Donatello ones, and then we'll grab a portrait by This guy. Boom. So we spent a lot of our gold per turn on that. We're going to want to try to acquire some more GPT if we can. Perfect. So that's that art museum filled. Could be a potential settler in here. I'm a little bit worried about that. I mean, this desert is ripe for DEEZes, so it's like not bad for us to settle it. I could also wait until the city hits 13 population, which would allow us to build the commercial hub in here. So why not just build a builder for 3 turns, and then by the time that builder finishes, we'll be able to build the commercial hub, getting an extra trade route. Trade routes are really good scaling in terms of tourism because they're a percentage modifier. I'm going to go ahead and settle on the stone, so we get a 2-2 base, plus the positioning of the city just feels really nice to me. It basically prevents, in theory, if I settled 1 tile to the north, it would completely block off any like forward settling from the AI while still being a 2-2 base. You know, actually, having thought about this, I may move up 1 tile now. Yeah, I think that feels reasonable. Plus, I save the stone chop, so I can use the chop there to accelerate this city. So I think settling up 1 tile here is actually slightly better. Oh no, but then I lose the fresh water. Okay, the fresh water is actually kind of important. In theory, we could replace it with a aqueduct, but I think I move back down for the fresh water, having now thought about that. We'll chop here. That'll take 3 turns off of the theater square, bringing it down to a single turn, which should lead to even stronger culture. We got our spy in Tarsus. Now we are stealing from Tromso. So I'm going to use the advanced filter here to see if we can find places with commercial hubs. Alexandria. Oh, okay. So the Cree capital here, stealing up to 400 gold. It's a great way to level up our spies. In Tarsus, we have our 3 key districts, the Holy Site, the Commercial Hub, and the Theater Square. So I'm going to get to work on the art museum so we can buy more great works. We have our builder in here. I mean, the fact that we're 2 techs away from conservation means I think we just leave this dude the way he is. We'll chop here. That'll basically finish the Holy Site, and then we'll butter up the next tile in preparation for the chop. You have your Holy Site. You need to get your Theater Square, so let's start building that. Where do I want my commercial hub? Important to remember that this does not give appeal. It does give gold to these. I think this tile, well, let me think about that. Yeah, nowhere is going to be able to put a national park on that. So that is a perfectly fine tile. I will place the commercial hub just to lock in its price. I know it's a volcano tile, but it's fine. Back 3 has finished its theater square. We're going to get the amphitheater, and things are coming along beautifully. He's a little bit annoyed. Spain is feeling a bit paranoid of me. Celestial navigation has advanced considerably. Baffling. What? Improved 2 sea resources. I don't even know how we got that one. Okay, we've got 4 envoys to play with. Mohenjo-Daro would be amazing because it would be worth a lot of culture. We may want to wait until colonialism finishes so we can be more efficient with the placement of these, so we will. We'll settle that city. That will get us a +2 era score for settling on this location. Now, let's have a think about how we want to position and develop this city. So let's have a thinker think. So I definitely feel like if we could make a national park here work, that would be cool. Incorporating those mountains. Then we could have a ski resort there and incorporate a national park right here as well. I'll even place the ski resort if I can remember where it is. I can never remember where the ski resort is on this map. There it is. Or not this map, the thing. And then there's another potential national park. It's always good to just, like, these newly settled cities are great for national parks. And a ski resort there. So that's kind of like what we're going to be doing with those mountains, plus a ski resort over here in an ideal world. And then that leaves the rest of these tiles as potential, like, actual useful things. So this can be a mine. That's not a problem. We can put a Paradisa here and a Paradisa here. Then I suppose if there's a theater square there and a Paradisa there, that'd be cool. And a commercial hub there and a Paradisa there. Need a holy site location. The holy site gives culture on the Paradisas. Boom, boom, boom. I guess we could do a low adjacency holy site there, which is not that big of a deal, but this gets me a ton, and I mean a ton of tourism. So this city's goal in the late game is just to produce an excess of tourism. In the meantime, we'll go for the watermill, into the granary, into the monument, just to keep it busy for the foreseeable future. Oh, we found Payatiti, the city of gold. El Dorado is the city of gold. I'm just going to vote for melee, and for me, I don't really care who wins this. My goal isn't to win a diplomatic victory, so I'm not really trying to manipulate that at all. Turns out I won both anyway. We get +1 era score for the first civic from the new era, which is colonialism, which does improve our boats, but None of these cards are particularly useful for us. The builder in Pasargadae, I'll head over there to get another Paradise of Nuts. That's what Jar Jar Binks says. Get a Paradise of Nuts. All right, we're going to build a commercial hub right there. That's going to be +3 gold. Plus 2 gold from the river, +3 from the adjacent Paradisas, plus the trade route is really useful. And then we'll start looking into maybe getting the medieval walls once we have that trade route up. We're not producing settlers right now, so we'll take out Charismatic Leader and we're going to stick in Diplomatic League. We may want to consider sticking in Wisselbank in the not too distant future. For now, it's fine. We could plug in Merchant Confederation. It's a decent amount of gold from our envoys. Merchant Confederation, let's do it. So we'll put a single envoy into Mohenjo-Daro. That'll get us +2. We'll put another envoy in. That will get us, we're up to 177, so that was a nice little boost. We don't necessarily need to be suzerain of them. Being suzerain of Hong Kong wouldn't be terrible. Garmu isn't terrible either. It would be good to put 3 envoys into Armagh because we do have a lot of holy sites. So that's going to bring us up from 149 faith per turn up to 175. That's pretty damn good. Plus we're now suzerain of them and their army has stood down. I think someone had levied to that army. Tarsus, I don't believe you need this trade route anymore, so I'm going to sell it to Halicarnassus. And farms don't have negative appeal, so I'll put a farm here, even though I really want to put a mine there. I don't want to have negative appeal on my tiles, if I can avoid it. Let's chop here to finish the holy site. We'll build the shrine that's worth 3 food, 3 faith. That's going to allow the city to just grow like crazy. There's the temple. 3 food, 6 faith, that's wonderful. Take 10 turns, you go there. We will also buy this tile. And what can we sell? Got a little bit of stuff to sell, that's great. Amenities are looking wonderful. We don't need to change anything about that. Trade route to Pasargadae, 5 food, 3 production. That's a huge boost for a brand new city. And yeah. All right, there is education. We've got the art museum in Hagmatana. I think we would like to purchase more great works. So let's have a look at, are there landscapes? We could buy a landscape. That's beautiful. We bought 2 landscapes. What about a religious painting? Beautiful. Let's shuffle around our great works. It's important that you shuffle around your great works because the value you get from them is dependent on whether or not you see here this one is only giving us 1 culture and 1 tourism because it's authored by an artist who's already here. So if I move it over here, it will actually give us an extra 3 tourism and 2 culture. So it's slightly more efficient to do it that way. So make sure you diversify your art displays. It's one of those minor gameplay mechanics that people don't think about. I don't think Hagmatana actually needs anything except for medieval walls. So I think we're gonna just start getting our medieval and Renaissance walls up because once we hit conservation, they're gonna be worth 6 tourism each. Loving the timing of this. We're gonna chop here to finish that temple. We will use our faith to purchase the stupa. That's another +1 amenity. It looks like I need to purchase some more amenities as our happiness has dipped slightly. We want to get all of our cities up to 8. When you have +5 amenities, you get a 20% boost to all yields, which basically means every 5 turns, you take 6 turns worth of actions, which is crazy powerful. One of the most powerful things. We will place the aqueduct to lock in its price, but we're not going to build it right now. Instead, we're going to go for the theater square, and you're going to head down here to chop. In fact, I will actually work on a builder in this city, and we'll chop out that builder so we can chain the production together. Zip away my little scout. Let's build the Paradisa right there. Build a Paradisa right over here. This is all empire prep for the next age that cometh. So there's stirrups, pasture improvements, beautiful. Workshop has been completed in Susa. The city needs to be repaired before we can do the medieval walls. I would like to get the commercial hub up in here though, so I will do that. The trade routes are very important. You could argue that the trade routes aren't as important as prioritizing them right now. It might be better to build the walls as we're just on the verge of getting the tourism boosts. And you could probably convince me of that. It's just like, I don't know if we need to rush that hard. So we have a trader in Tromsø. You have leveled up. Let's go for Quartermaster. It's a really good one. Quartermaster is great. It makes all your spies more valuable. Let's go ahead and gain sources in the Cree capital so that our spy operates at a higher level, meaning he will have a better success chance at stealing gold and he's less likely to get our investment killed. We got a commercial hub in Pasargadae. Let's grab the market because we want those trade routes. Plus the gold from the market itself is not too bad, but mostly we want that trade route, both in terms of being able to use them to develop our empire and also get tourism boosts. In Tromsø, we will siphon funds. Amphitheater has been completed in Bactry. So now that we have extra space for great works of writing, we are going to talk to the AI and see if we can't buy some great works of writing from them. They cost about 10 gold each, which is fine. 10 gold per turn, that is. Beautiful. Should we get another art museum? I don't see a reason not to. Let's do it. Extra culture is wonderful. Oh, they captured my builder. Oh, what the hell? Okay, we're going to need to defend this city with a real unit. What is the most real unit that I can muster? Probably a knight. So I need to buy 2 iron. Hold on. And then I need to sell some niter. I need to sell some more stuff. There we go. 52 combat strength in that city. It'll hold a lot better now. Let's go ahead and get those ancient walls in there. I don't even know where this barb camp came from. All right, let's get the Renaissance walls up. I'll put an envoy into... It'd be nice to be Susan of Bologna. Okay, perfect. Market completed in here. Let's produce another knight. We need a couple of military units to try and clear this stuff down here. We'll chop there. That'll finish the theater square. Let's get the amphitheater in here. Improve that mine for me. Excellent. Run away. We got our art museum in Tarsus, but we can't afford to buy any more stuff. We need to sell some more stuff. It's our current issue. Let's get a trader. We can start looking into trading internationally. Let's become double suzerain for funsies of those 2 city-states. Conservation is 7 turns away. Your job is to just keep that city healthy. I would love to promote you, but buying this many great works is putting a strain on our gold income. It will get better as we continue to develop our commercial hubs and our trading relationships. We also do need to build the zoo in Susa, but for now it's fine. All right, go and shoot that guy. It's only 11 damage, but it's free damage. The city can shoot as well. A tiny chunk of damage. We're up to 63 tourism per turn. Oh man, that's crazy settling that they're doing up here in the north. Let's have a look. Yeah, we have 2 foreign tourists, so we're on the board. We have scored points, and it's just a matter of keeping it up. We were building Renaissance walls in here, however the city has now been damaged, which means you cannot continue building. So what I'm going to do is get to work on another knight. It'll take a long time for those knights to finish, but they will provide us with the sort of units that we need to protect and defend our territory. Is this a woods or a jungle? Regular woods, so we can just put a plantation on it. In theory, it would be nice for the chop, but it's fine. Right, the walls are coming up in Tushpa, which will allow us to start doing damage. I do need to get myself a crossbowman, so selling stuff is going to be great. Particularly the niter is selling really well, as is the Diplo favor. I'm going to upgrade the crossbowman in Hagmatana, and we'll blast you. The city combat strength is based on your strongest unit of the category. So basically your melee strength is based on your strongest melee unit, melee being cavalry or infantry, and then your range strength is based on your strongest range unit being specifically the crossbowman unit line. I don't think siege units count. Actually, that's something I've never tested. I've just always assumed that that's true. In Pass Argade, I am going to grab myself a trader, because traders are empire-wide infrastructure. God, why would I ever want this NVIDIA screen? How did you even appear? No wonder my performance isn't as good as I was expecting. So the most important person for me to establish a trade route with is going to be Maya, because they have the highest amount of domestic tourists, which means we need the most amount of pressure against them to try to bring their tourism down. So let me have a look at the trade potential screen. I want to look at trade routes to Maya, and it looks like we don't have any available trade routes to Maya, so that might trigger us to try to settle somewhere in here. An alternative is to start trading with Norway to establish trade routes. So let me have a look here. With Norway, what options do we have? What would be the shortest trade route? So we could trade with Skien or Skien here. And that would take 42 turns to get a trading post, which would allow us to trade further. We could trade with Tromsø. I wish, this is one of my biggest requests for Civ 6 would be if these trade routes would just if you had the option to make your traders go faster so you could establish these trading posts. So I think I'm going to trade with Skien in order to begin that trade lane. That is the use of that trader. It's a big downgrade in terms of yields, but it is a 25% tourism boost against Norway, which, arguable, but that's not particularly important. Let's get to work on the medieval walls. We're about to get conservation, which makes building those a lot more valuable due to the fact that conservation gives you tourism from your walls. If I wanted to give Armagh an update, what I would do is I would give I would give these guys tourism equal to their faith generation after flight. Right now the monastery is just like one of those trash, not very good tile improvements. All right, you have a higher knowledge of the Cree capital. Go ahead and steal. You've got 86% chance of success, 14% chance of fail, 2% chance of dying. Those numbers lie, I want to say. I don't think those numbers actually reflect like objective reality, but they are like about right. Let's kill the crossbowman first. Obviously the big threat. Here's a trader. We are going to send this trader to Tarsus so we can start establishing the long trade chain. We'll get to work on the medieval walls in here. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Huitokalian pikemen have been researched. Excellent. We're still on our pathway towards flight, which is our main objective. I'm going to pull you back to a safe distance to heal. We'll keep shooting the barbarians in this area. My market in Susa has been completed. Let's get ourselves another trader. Amphitheater completed in Shahir Irkumis. I would love to buy now more great works of writing if available. They are worth 4 tourism per turn, which doesn't sound like much, but it adds up, especially when it's one of the earliest sources of tourism that you can get. I'm going to go for medieval walls into Renaissance walls because we're like on the verge of getting the good stuff. Don't forget also, we have monarchy, which gives us diplomatic favor for every Renaissance wall that we have. Like that's really, really valuable. That diplo favor can be bought and sold. 2 turns until conservation. We're excited. So we want to follow the trade line through Skeen into Tromsø so that we can kind of replicate the trading post plan. I have a spy in Tromsø. Let's level him up. Faster missions when you're gold stealing is actually not ideal because it means you actually steal less gold and you basically roll the dice on getting captured more often. It's not bad. It's just like not great if you're gold stealing. It does give you a lot more flexibility on like when and how and where you can use your spy. Okay, we're blasting that. We got the medieval walls in here. Let's grab the Renaissance walls. We still have 100% production towards buildings in here. Defensive buildings is what I meant. 1 turn away from conservation. That's a big deal. Conservation is a big deal. Tromsø has a spy. We're going to steal. Well, we should probably gain sources to operate at a higher level. We'll shoot you there. Beautiful. That's 1 enemy down. Let's improve the food plantation there. Or the olive plantation. All 8 cities are ecstatic, which is huge. So there's +1 era score. Conservation has been completed. We now have access to the national park. So we will be looking to set up those national parks pretty much immediately, but it is going to require us to plant some forests. We're in what I consider to be, this is one of the tightest production crunches that you'll get into in a tourism game, which is around about now, where you need like builders, you need walls, you need districts and buildings and all sorts of stuff, and there just isn't enough production to go around. So it's a very tight production schedule that we're on, but we have lots of faith. Military emergency failed against the Mayans. We got a thingy in Susa. Probably a good idea for us to now look to scout to trade in the opposite direction. Also, it would be good to trade with what's his face? Alexander. So we'll move this trader over to Pasargadae. We'll trade with Alexandria because it is worth the tourism now. We need to repair the walls in here so we can get those walls up. We don't need the extra amenities. Let's double check purchasing. No amenities available. We are starting to use up the available amenities. We do need to think about archaeological stuff. I'm kind of annoyed at the positioning on this. I mean, this still should be naturalistable, but I'm still annoyed at the fact that there's an antiquity site there. Okay, we're going to level you up so you're more effective. Don't let them kill our traders if we can avoid it. You've repaired your defenses. Let's get those medieval walls up. Ancient walls are up. Let's get the medieval walls up. We're going to look to trade with Alexandria, mostly for the tourism. We're going to place this national park here because it's going to give us a nice boost of tourism. Bish bash bosh, also +4 era score. That's beautiful. So if we press 7 on our keyboard to open up the tourism map mode, this is worth 14 base tourism as it currently stands. Now remember, that 14 tourism isn't 14 tourism, because what's actually happening is this is generating 14 base tourism, then it's applying it against every other player. So it's 14 times the number of players, right? Which is, I don't know, 14 times 7 that's 98 tourism per turn, right? Remember, you need, what is it, 200 times the number of players to get tourism. So that's a tourist. So basically that's worth a tourist. Every 7 times 200 is 1400 divided by 98 is about 100. So it's like, that's worth a tourist every 14 turns, roughly speaking, right? If you imagine the average, and then That's even before we consider the modifiers, right? Like plus 25% tourism here, plus 50% due to having 2 modifiers. So this is actually worth potentially more tourism per turn. And we can actually even get it higher based on the fact that we can plant a woods here. That'll give it plus 1 tourism. We could place a woods here. That'll be worth plus 2 because we're removing a negative appeal source and then adding a positive appeal source. That's plus 2. We can put a forest here and here. So that's another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 base tourism. So that would bring us up to 19. 19 times 7. So that would be about a tourist every 10 turns. So that's what a single national park can do for you in terms of tourism. And so that's why we build them. That's why they're so good. Yeah, I mean, the individual tiles aren't that powerful, but it's fine. Okay, so we definitely want to put the builder production card in because we are going to be going for more builders. I'm going to take out Diplomatic League and instead plug in Charismatic Leader. Let's make sure we can clear this out. We'll clear you out as well. Cleared out the barbs. We have a card here. I'll go for grants on Pingala for the extra great people points in Susa. Now that we have civil engineering, we kind of want to delay getting to ideology until we have all of our Renaissance walls up, if we can avoid it. They're very choppable. So let's have a look around. Is there stuff that we want to pick up? In theory, St. Basil's this game isn't terrible. Has anyone... Well, I'll put 1 turn into it. We could look to settle the tundra with a ton of forest and chop it out if we wanted to, and then look to maybe set up a national park. What if it was right here? So let me just, I'm mapping out the potential national parks here in my head. I'm just going to mark the top of the diamond. So there'll be a national park right there, a national park right there, national park right there, a national park right there. That's 4 national parks plus a St. Basil's. Like, that'd be a pretty sick city if we could get it online. It depends on if anyone has actually built the St. Basil's. If they have, we may reconsider, but we are going to start getting a lot of builders now to retool our landscape. Go ahead and repair your walls, Hagmatana, so we can improve them. Medieval walls have been finished in Shahir Akumis. We'll go for the Renaissance walls. Backtree has finished its art museum. Let's get the medieval walls in there. I don't think I can afford to buy art right now. I probably overbuilt art museums. Hindsight 2020. Okay, so there's Theocracy, St. Basil's Cathedral. Has anyone built... Nobody's built St. Basil's, so that does make this an option. We are at a normal age. It's a normal industrial age. Heartbeat of Steam isn't terrible. Evaluate. We're not going to discover any continents. We're not going to kill non-barbarian naval units. We are going to do some trade routes. Reform the coinage is a good default. Heartbeat of Steam. We think about what kind of buildings we're unlocking. Has to be industrial era, right? Plus 1 error score for each industrial or later building constructed. So we'll probably get like... a factory. You can get a lot if you research sewers, but I don't know if we're going to research sewers. So most of that is going to come from building like a zoo. And maybe if we want to do early shopping malls, which we could in theory do, rush capitalism for shopping malls. Like, it's not bad. There is a big downside. You know what? We'll go for Heartbeat of Steam. There's a lot of potential there. Renaissance walls have been completed in Tarsus. We need a lot of builders to improve this territory. Hagmatana is going to take this. Hagmatana needs to finish its Renaissance walls as well as repair its art museum because that was damaged recently. We're not going to be changing our government. We're happy with the government that we have. Keep exploring for me. Yeah, this is a lumber mill. So yeah, we're in a pretty big production crunch, and one of the problems you have when you're playing Persia is they just don't have that much production. I can't promise that I will stop spying on you. Religious tourism is weakened against us. Our spy was captured. We'll have to try and liberate him. It's fine. It's fine. We'll go for the Renaissance walls. We also want the zoo because that's AoE amenities. It's quite strong. We do want to double check if there's any luxuries we can buy to try and get those luxuries up. Going from happy to ecstatic literally doubles the bonus, so it is a big deal to go from +3 amenities to +5. We're going to continue siphoning funds from Norway. La Palmas is flipping independent. We do have to wonder if we want to take that to ourselves. Bank is available. We got a builder in Passargade. Now, mostly our builders need to be redirected towards building new national parks and improving existing ones. The bank is one of the lowest value buildings in the entire game. So what we'll do is we'll quickly crack out a settler to be sent down here to do this project. If I were smart, I would have had a settler pre-built. It's likely that by the time we get the settler down there, the AI will have found a reason to build a St. Basil's Cathedral, and then we won't be able to really do much with that. Now we have met Ayutthaya, which is actually a really good pickup for us. I'll wait 2 turns. Ooh, Zanzibar. Yeah. I'm going to wait a couple of turns until we can get the double first envoy card. Double first envoy just really multiplies the total amount of envoys you can have on the map. It's just so useful, and it only ever works on the first envoy, so Very, very important that we do that. Oh, hey, there's a Paradisa right here. Paradise nuts. Bunch of great people just got taken. We're gonna plant a forest right there. You got yourself another builder. You need to make your way down. Yeah, there's no banks are one of the worst buildings in the entire game. Renaissance walls up in a couple of cities. We're getting those built. Hello. I said that like the guys from the Book of Mormon say it. Hello. Hello. His name is Jesus Christ. Hello. Okay, we can build another spy now thanks to nationalism, so we will want to do that as soon as we have the production time. I do really want an archaeological museum here in Shahir Kumis. I really want to build a commercial hub as well. I'm going to get the archaeological museum. I think it's important that we rip this antiquity site up. Trying to see if there's anyone worth investing into. Oh, actually Reina is pretty good for tourism cities because of her ability here. +2 gold from unimproved features. Tiles adjacent to unimproved features gain appeal, so she will be really, really strong in the St. Basil city. In fact, it may be worth it to reconsider one of these national parks, because if we could get St. Basil's Cathedral, plus an Eiffel Tower. That's what your mom calls my dick. No, if we could get one of these, if we could get both of these, plus like, you know what I'm saying? Like this could be really, really pogged. The combination of these two in this city with Arena would be absolutely disgusting. You see if there was a national park right there, a national park right there. What if we put a preserve here for the memes, plus a theater square? This could go crazy. This could be like the yield porn of yield porns. There's something to this. A 5 national park city with Eiffel, St. Basil's and thing. The only thing missing here would be like the Golden Gate Bridge, which if I remember correctly, the Golden Gate Bridge gives plus 100% tourism from improvements in national parks in this city. That's the only thing that we could like maybe, I don't even know, can you even put this here? No, I don't think you can. In theory, we could put a there, but no. Oh, baby, baby, how was I supposed to build? All right, we're getting spanked here. A settler completed in Pass Argadate. We'll send them down south, probably with an escort, ideally. Escort in the form of knight. Renaissance walls and Hagmatana has been finished. We don't want the bank. Again, the bank is just like not a particularly valuable building. It's +5 gold per turn, +1 citizen slot, and a great merchant point per turn. It's not a bad building. It's just not very good. There is a really nice national park right here. So let me go ahead and purchase a naturalist. There's also a really nice one here. We'll purchase that one next turn. Oh, baby, baby. Boom, boom, boom. That song is stuck in my head. In particular, it's the Kung Fu Panda version with Jack Black. That's the version of that song that gets stuck in my head. Something wasn't right, yeah. All right. We got our lumber mill there. You're on your way down south. Perfect. We've got the settler on the way. We're scouting. Tromso has stolen again. Better steel technology level. We max level the spy for some era score. That's beautiful. We have a trade route here in Backtree. I'm going to send this one to Pasargade to trade with Spain. We'll keep building these. You zip around here, make me a national park. Thank you very much, good sir. There's another national park. National parks, including mountains, aren't bad. They're not like the greatest ones that you can make, but they aren't terrible. Like that's another 14 tourism. You can already start to see the tourists starting to accumulate in my empire based on the total amount of tourism that has been developed. My holy site currently has developed the most tourism. It's been a slow trickle across the game, but yeah. We're up to a very healthy 10 tourists. We do need to deal with the Mayans' culture. One of the ways that we can deal with them is like do a little bit of war and stuff. Also, we need to check when our open borders is running out. Did we run out? Your open borders ran out. Hey, our open borders ran out. You know what? That's a good point to call it here for this episode. I mean, in terms of our situation, I think we're looking really nice. But that's going to be it for me. I want to thank you guys very much for watching. I love you all very much. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.